Hello everybody, this is a tutorial about MFC Basics. This time we will be learning how to use editbox. It's called CEdit. And the base frame for this tutorial will be this Dialog Box project. We already done this before, so I can put the link below how to create this dialog box and how the dialog box can communicate with this window. So I'll put the link so you can watch that first if you haven't done that before. Okay, so the starting point is that we already know how to create the dialog box and how do we launch the dialog box. Okay, so to start with let's create the edit boxes here. So we first go to the resource view, and here let's add some edit boxes there. Make it a little bit bigger, this one, so I have some space here like that. And let's start adding. So put a static text there, and then we can. Then to use the edit box, we need to select this one. It's edit control, and I'm gonna paste it there. And now, now I'm gonna create different kind of edit boxes here, like 3 or 4 different kind of edit boxes. So I'm gonna just copy this and paste them here. So save a little bit time. One more. Okay, so what I'm doing here is basically that we are going to have a person details like name, ID, and so on, and then I'm gonna have an info box here below also, where we can see some information after we fill up these things. And so I'm gonna do it actually one more time in order to do that. So somewhere there. So let this first one be the name. Let's type name. The second one will be age, and then height. And let this be ID. The ID of the person, like the social security number or something like that, whatever you call it in your country. And we still need one more because we're gonna have a information field for the person. This one tells something about the person info, like that. Okay, so the name can be a little bit longer, so let's do like that. It can be a little bit shorter, obviously. Height, and so on. ID can be short, well, like that. Now the information is gonna be a little bit more, so let's make it bigger. And I drop this a little bit, so like that. And let's put info. I'll show later what I'm aiming to do here, but I'll just do it roughly here now first, and something like this. And so let's start from the top. I'm going to a little bit move them using the arrows. We can move them like this using the arrows. Okay, so the name is going to be string. Okay, I think we can start now. So what we need to do here, if we want to create different kind of edit boxes. So this one will be name, which will be a string. Age will be a integer. This will be a double, like 180 centimeters, 185.50 centimeters, something like that. And this is gonna be an integer. And this is gonna be a string, like a long string. Okay, so the way to do is that let's first save. Always good to save first. Oh, I'm building. Well, building also saves, so it's okay. But so save all first, and now we want to create a variable for this one. So this one is only that how these controls are located and how they're gonna look like, but the control itself, we need to create an object for this control. So so if you look at my video earlier, which I created, how to create a dialog with controls, what it is that we need to have this a dialog class first created. So you can find this from the previous video how to do this. So we need to have this a dialog class first, and all those variables, they basically are going to go inside this class here. So let's start doing it. So I go back here. So this one more time, this class is now linked with this resource dialog. Okay, so this class is now going to use, as we can see the ID here, it's a dialog ID here. So this class is going to use information from here. First we need to just go there and add a variable. Okay, so it's going to be value. What this control is here, we can go to that later on. That's going to be more like advanced tutorial. I'm doing only basic tutorial this time, so I'm not going to explain everything from here. So just choose value, because we just want to have a value, and then create a variable for that box. So let's call it just name, and the type will be string, and you can put a comment person's name here, and then we can go to the so that's string, so that's it, and then we just say finish. Yep, and then save. And then age, same thing, add a variable value, and now it's gonna be an age, and now it's gonna be integer. Let's not put comment this time. And now let's go here, let's learn this one. So age is always between 0 and something, isn't it? So let's put 0 and let's put 1000 there. Just an example how to do this. So minimum value 0 and maximum, nobody can be more than 1000 years old. So let's do like that. Just an example how to do that. And then height is gonna be double. Excuse me. And then just finish. ID is gonna be integer. It could be also like unsigned integer, but could be unsigned integer also, but actually it is recommended to use int in C++, even if it's an unsigned integer. There are reasons for that. And now but we could put here that minimum value is 0 and yeah, like that. And then finish. I forgot to put the maximum value, so let's say 10,000 maximum. Okay, so what is it saying? What did I do wrong? I don't know why I put int there. So that's gonna be ID. Next, and then okay. And now the person's info. So this is gonna be a string. Let's do that next. Add variable string. Actually C string, right? And that's a value. Just info. That's a person info. And finish. Okie dokie. And this is gonna be this is meant to be information of all of this. It's just the idea here is that when we are pressing a button, let me just add the button here actually. So we have a button here, and we could call it. So let's add the button here, and let's call that. Go to properties here, and let's name it show info. So it will show the person info. Show person info. It's called person details. Oh, I don't know. Well, such person details. Difficult to name these things. Person details, and then then let's name it also underscore person details. The idea is that when I press this button, it will print all of this information into this box, just that we can see what's happening there. So now let's create this one finally. So we are going to go here, and oh, actually the ID needs to be, I actually forgot to change the IDs, to be honest with you. This ID should be actually matching with this variable name. So let me just quickly change that. So that needs to be name, and that needs to be H, and so on. ID person info, and this is edit details, something like that. And now let's create a variable for this. I'll call it details. It's a string. Finish. Okay, and then save. Excuse me. So now let's go and see what happened when we created all of this. Let's go to the H file. So we can see that they are all here. This all looks good. Now if we go to the CPP file, now this is interesting. I changed it, but it didn't change the ID from here. Let's go back and look what happened. So I created the variable here, and I forgot it was edit 1 here. If everybody remembers, it was edit 1, wasn't it? This was edit 1, and this ID was edit 2. It's the ID of the control. So, and I later on changed it to name because I wanted to be name actually. The ID, it's good to have a nice name here. So if you change this later on, this ID, as we can see, we might have this kind of problem that code MFC is not, I mean this Visual Studio is not necessarily always updating them automatically. So this is good to learn, good to learn how to do this. So this one needs to be changed the name, the one we updated there. This one needs to be. So if you get this problem that it doesn't update, this is how you can fix it manually, this thing. And this is gonna be height. This is gonna be ID. And this is gonna be, is it info? Is it person info? Yeah, it was person info. Like that. Okie dokie, so there's no red lines, it all seems to work now. So, and these are the default values. So when we start the program, let me compile this now. And Control F5, run it. And then launch it from here. So yeah, so this is the default value, 0, 0, 0 and empty. Now let me put here something here like hello, like name is let's say John, default name is John, and default ID, let's say 5. Compile. So this is, it puts that default value now when you first launch that object, that dialog object. You see there's the John and there's the 5. Okay, so this is how it works. So now let's start now improving this a little bit, and let's see what we can do with edit boxes. So these are all good. Now this one, the way this needs to work, this person info, because if we are, let me just make it a little bit shorter so we see the problem here. So if I run it now, let's see how it works now. Well, maybe it works perfectly, but let's see. Okay, so I'm typing some info here. Yeah, so we might not want this one, isn't it? Because we can't see what's happening there, right? So we don't want this one to behave like this, that everything goes on the first line, right? Like, hi, my name is John, I live in London, by something like this. It's no good, isn't it? I think what we want here is that we want that scroll bar here and we want it automatically, you know, move it to the next line. The other problem we have, I saw the other problem here as well at the same time. Now if I press enter now, you see it didn't, my cursor was in the edit box, right? My cursor was here, and I think what we are expecting here, that if I press enter here, it should move this to the second line, isn't it? Not because now if I press enter at the moment, what it does, it will hit the OK button. Actually, the focus is on the dialog, so the focus is on the OK button, and we don't want that behavior. We want that the edit box gets the enter press. Okay, so let's change both of them. So the way that we can get enter into this box, we select the edit box, and then you go here, and want return. The want return needs to be true. Okay, so that's fixed now. The second thing we wanted here is that we wanted to have the vertical toolbar. The first thing we need to have is that multi-line. The multi-line means that we want to have multi-line or only one line. So we want to have multi-line, so true. And then we want to have a vertical scroll bar, so to speak. So it actually puts it there already. So let's see if it works now. Compile. And so if I start typing here stuff, aha, you see it, but now the enter works. Okay, so something works, right? But let's say, well, this is a matter of taste, isn't it? So we might want it to work like this actually, that it puts everything there. But I would actually suggest that we want, now it needs to go to the second line, isn't it? So well, somebody might want this behavior, but I personally prefer that when I type, it will go to the next line here, isn't it? So if you want it to go to the next line automatically when it hits this right side, I saw how to do that. So let's go here. So we need to, it's this hate scroll. This needs to be false. Okay. Because this one does the automatic scroll, automatically scrolling. When you're typing on the right hand side, it automatically scrolls the text. So we don't want to scroll automatically. And if you put that false, it will automatically then go to the next line when it hits the right hand side. So let's see. There we go. And enter also works. So I think now it works like we want. Oh, very good. So let's go now and start doing the printing the information. So the idea here is that we type something here, and then we want to print all that information here. So The idea is that when we press this button, we want to print whatever is here in this box. So let's create first the event handler for this button. So I double click. Here we go. And now we need to create a code for that. I already created the code, so I'm gonna just copy that to do it faster. Okay, so we want to do something like this here, and I will be explaining this in a moment. Okay, so let's remove that stuff there. Now let's look at one more time. This info is this box here. Okay, so that info is that box. So we want to change this string here. Sorry, this one, this detail. Sorry, this details is for this box. Okay, so we need to use that one to change the content of that. So we go to the CPP file and format. So the format, we can use the format to change the text using integers and doubles and stuff. So this is the way to do it. Well, this tutorial is not, we are not learning about this string really, so I'm just showing how to do it, and there could be another lesson how to use strings. But there's the name, and then we want to put the name there, so that's the name. Okay, that's correct. And this age, and age goes there. I have a double, so sorry, this is integer, d is integer. Sorry, it's not double, it's an integer. A little bit confusing, but okay. So then height, and that's a decimal number with 2 decimals, and that's height, and that's correct. And we don't have the profit here at the moment, so I'm going to remove that. Okay, and this is the way, by the way, to put a new line here like this. So when we put this one, it will write this sentence on the next line. Now what we need to do here, before it can do this one, we need to say update data, and we need to put here true. Update data like that. So this update data it will take whatever is in the name field, for example, whatever is in this name field window. This is a window. Whatever is in this window, it will put that value in this variable, and whatever is in this window, this age window, it will put that into this variable. So this age has the value whatever is here. If we don't call this update data, it will not take these values from these boxes, and these variables will have old values, wrong values, kind of. Okay, and now after we changed this variable, which is pointing to this control, we need to then put that string from this string variable into this window. So we need to do the opposite here, like this. Okay, false. Okie dokie. So this is doing the opposite. It's taking the value from this string and placing that string into that window. Okie dokie. So let's see if this works. Okay. So let me put age 55 like that, and then, well, we haven't done this, so now I press, and there we go, and it's on one line. We have this problem that everything goes on the first line, but we basically have the information. Name is John from here, age is 55 from here, and 345 here. Excuse me. Now let's start improving this. I don't think it's a good idea that this box can be changed here, because this is only for information. So we need to prevent that nobody can type here. This should be only for reading. So let us start improving that. So I'm gonna go there. And let's start changing the style of this window. First of all, we want it to be only to read only. So there is a command read only. Where is it? People help me, please. Oh, there it is. I'm almost blind. So this needs to be true, isn't it? So you see that now it's grayed out. It's only read only. It's read only, so we can't change that. The second thing is that we want to start changing it to multi-line. So we need to make it multi-line. And what else we want there to be? We want there to be probably, well, similar than this one, I guess. So we want to have this needs to be false, and this, and then we need to have that vertical scroll bar true. Right. Okay, let's see what we get now. So compile and run. I'll just press this button. Okay, so let's see if we like this or not. Okay, so it kind of goes nicely here now. Now we could argue here that do we want it automatically push it on the next line? In this case, I would actually kind of argue that we don't necessarily want this behavior, because we want this line to be, this text to be on the one line, like it is in the original setting. Like here, we have it on the one line here. So I would personally actually prefer here a different kind of look. I would like this sentence be on one line, not automatically wrapping it. So let's say that we want like that. So we want to have a scroll bar here as well, I guess. Let's do that. So let's put that scroll bar there. Obviously it's gonna be we want the horizontal scroll bar, so that needs to be true. Is that gonna change that? That's an interesting question. I think that's an interesting question. Do we need to, now my brain is not working, do we need to put this one true? Let me think. It needs to be true, isn't it? So I'm guessing this needs to be true as well, because it needs to be able to scrolling that text when you move the cursor to the right. The text needs to be automatically scrolling to the left. So that's my guess. I might be wrong. I'm sometimes wrong. So let's you know, thumbs up. Guys, I think I got it right. So let's see if I'm scrolling to the right from here. Oh yeah, this is what I wanted, isn't it? So yeah, I think this looks pretty good. Yeah, so there are these options, and I can show you a couple of options now. Let's change this. I will end this video in a moment, but I will show a couple of ways we could change this, how this could look. We have a couple of options here now. So let's say that we want to have the word wrap, the total word wrap. So let's try to do that one. That we don't have any any scroll bars. So how would we do that? And that is a good question. And okay, so to do that, we needed to make that false, and then we remove the scroll bars from here, false, and then needs to be multi-line. I think that's it. That's it probably. So let us try. But I'm here. Oh, it doesn't go. See, it stops there. It doesn't show anymore. But I think it doesn't scroll up if I go at the bottom here. So let's go and fix that. I think it's because this. I think it's because that. This scroll here needs to be true. This vertical outer scroll needs to be true. That's for sure. That when I hit the bottom, it will automatically start scrolling the text above. So let's see now. You see now it works. Okay, so if you want like this, that you don't want to have any scroll bars, actually you can do it like this. So we can have many combinations of these, however we want. So yeah, but yeah, and one last thing, I will show how to show this text here. That's the last thing I'm gonna do here. That when we come from here, John Fox, and I press OK. Let's show that text here. I'll just try to quickly do that. That's the last thing to do here. So in order to do that, we need to have variables in the view class. We can use the same variables as we have here. I'm just going to copy these variables, and then we go to the view heights. By the way, in a professional settings, we will put them in a document like I'm talking in the other videos, but to keep this simple, I will just put it in the view. This is not really the right way to do it, but to save some time, I'll just put them here this time. So we have the name, age, height, and ID, and info as well. So we need all of them. And now let's go to the. So we're going to do something like this. We need to do the format again. So I'm going to copy all of these, and then we can go to the view, and on draw here we can draw text here. So I'm just going to create a temporary string variable here that's called str print, and we will format that print by name, and we don't print any of this time. We only print the values from the edit from those edit boxes. So last will be the ID, and that will be D. We don't need that. And that, and then last one is the ID. Take it from there. Aha, there's info as well. Let's put that info as well there. Why not? I'm gonna copy that and yeah. And info goes there. Now we need to fill up these variables with the values from the dialog box. So let's go and do that. So when we get the idoc, the OK from there, which is idoc, when the user press OK from the dialog box, then we can save those values. So name will be the dialog name. Because we have exactly the same variable names, I can just copy them easily like this. So the view age will come from the dialog age, and the height will be from the dialog, and the view ID will be from the dialog, and lastly the info will be also getting its value from the dialog. Like to do like this. Okay, so now we are storing them, and and as I said in my previous videos about how the dialogs works, we can then put those values when we are launching the dialog. We can get the current values in the dialog by reversing this thing here. So we just need to do the opposite here. Set the dialog values. Initialize the dialog values like this. So let's do that. It's quite quick to do. So this will initialize the dialog values, and yeah. Okie dokie. So, and one more thing, as I said in the previous lesson, that we need to say here update window. Before we update window, we need to tell that which part of the window needs updating. So invalidate yeah, just invalidate, yeah, invalidate, and it might work now. So, and then we need to obviously print that text, so it's gonna be we need to open that drawing context from there, and then we need to say text out, for example, and then the string will be this one, and is it correct? What is it complaining? What is it saying? Name. Did I do everything correctly here? Hide ID info. Okay, let's try what happens. If there are any problems, it might crash. But if there are no problems, then it might work straight away. So let's see. Well, obviously, yeah, we have some bad values. That's interesting. I will go and check that actually why that happens. The 8's name and why do we get that? What if I put just the name? Because the name should be the name should be empty. Yeah, it is empty. Aha, so there's something else which was wrong. So it seems to work that 8's put 1 by 1. 8's is integer. Yeah. Yeah, so where did I do a mistake? Just quickly check. Aha, there is a problem. I think the H is simply because the H is doesn't have any values. I'm gonna initialize the H by, let's say, 0. Is that the problem? I think the problem is that I did not initialize those. Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? So they just need to have some good. Yeah, that's the problem. So 0.0. This is not really what we are learning here, but okay, so I think it works now. Actually, the original E also works probably. So I'll uncomment that and let's try now. Yeah, now it works. Okie dokie. So let's now go and put some values here. I say Peter's age is obviously 56. his height is 178.88, ID is 3, my brother, and then okay, so here we are printing the details here. Well, just the testing, we're just testing here. So this is how it roughly should look, and then we press OK, and there you go. It prints the information into the window. And now if we launch this box again, we have the previous values here because the way we did it, that we are storing them into the view, and when we are launching the dialog, we will send them back to the dialog box. Okay, actually this was longer than I thought, so I'm gonna have a video number 2. We will continue a little bit longer. It's gonna be shorter video, I think, but I want to show one more thing about the basics of the edit box, and so see you then. Thank you for watching.